Today, we are diving into a story of espionage, rebellion, and a hero you have probably never heard of. You might call him the left-handed assassin.
So let me just ask you something. When you think of stories from the Bible, does your mind go to, covert operations and political assassinations? Well, probably not. But tucked away in the book of Judges, there's a story that honestly plays out just like a spy thriller. All right, so to really get this story, you've got to understand the situation. The people of Israel were in a really desperate place. They were living under the thumb of a foreign power.
And we're not talking about a short-term problem here. For 18 long years, they were forced to serve the Moabites. Just try to imagine that. Nearly 2 decades of oppression, of paying your hard-earned money to a foreign king.
And the guy at the top of this whole oppressive system? King Eglon. Now, the Bible makes a point of describing him as a very fat man. And trust me, that detail isn't just a throwaway insult. It's a critical piece of foreshadowing. He was the literal symbol of their subjection.
But after 18 years of crying out for help, a deliverer, a hero, finally emerges. And, well, he is not at all what anyone would have expected.
His name is Ehud. He's from the tribe of Benjamin, and the text highlights one absolutely crucial detail about him. He was left-handed. Now, in an ancient world where your right hand was your sword hand, this was seen as a pretty big disadvantage. Or was it?
So Ehud comes up with this plan that is just brilliant in its deception. First, he gets the perfect weapon, a short, double-edged dagger. Second, the concealment. He straps it where no guard would ever think to look. Third, he needs access, so he uses the official tribute delivery as his cover. And finally, he needs to get the king alone, by luring him in with the promise of a secret message.
And this is where the genius of his plan really clicks into place. Think about it. Any standard pat-down back then would focus on a person's left thigh, because that's the logical place to draw a weapon with your dominant right hand. But Ehud, being left-handed, straps the dagger to his right thigh. He literally turned his perceived weakness into his greatest strategic advantage. The guards would have completely missed it.
Okay, so the weapon is concealed, the plan is in motion, Ehud presents the tribute, sends the other Israelites away, and then he turns back. Alone. He's going back to face the king. And the tension is about to get very real.
He walks up to King Eglon and says the one thing a powerful man just can't resist. "Your Majesty, I have a secret message for you." And of course it works. The king is totally intrigued by the promise of some private intel, and he commands his guards, "Leave us." The trap is set.
So just picture this scene. The two of them are now completely alone in this private, cool upper chamber of the palace. The doors are closed, there are no guards, no witnesses, it's just Ehud and the totally unsuspecting king.
Ehud leans in, and the true nature of his secret becomes terrifyingly clear. He says, "I have a message from God for you." Hearing this, the king feels obligated to show some reverence, so he rises from his throne, which was the exact move Ehud was waiting for. In that single instant, it all goes down. With his left hand, Ehud draws that hidden dagger from his right thigh. The motion is unnatural, totally unexpected. He lunges forward and plunges the entire blade deep into the king's belly. The attack is so forceful, the text says the handle goes in right after the blade, and the king's own fat closes over the entire weapon. It's brutal, it's swift, and it is decisive.
The deed is done, but killing the king? That was only half the plan. Now, Ehud has to pull off a daring escape from the very heart of the enemy palace.
Ehud's brilliance just keeps going. He doesn't just run, no, he calmly shuts and locks the doors behind him. So when the king's servants show up, they find the locked door and make let's say a delicate assumption that the king is just occupied. This hesitation buys Ehud precious time. They actually wait, as the text says, to the point of embarrassment before they finally force the door open, only to find their king dead. And by then, Ehud is long gone.
You see, Ehud's mission was never just about a single act of vengeance. It was about liberation for his people. And his escape was the signal for the next phase of the whole operation.
So after escaping to the hill country, Ehud doesn't go into hiding. No way. He blows a trumpet, a call to arms for all the Israelites. He tells them, "Follow me. The Lord has delivered your enemy into your hands." The assassination has thrown the Moabites into total chaos, and he knows now is the time to strike. And the battle that follows? It's an absolute rout.
The Israelites capture the key river crossings and ambush the Moabite forces. They strike down 10,000 of Moab's best soldiers, all of them described as vigorous and strong. And not a single one escaped. It was just an overwhelming and complete victory.
So what was the final result of this one man's incredibly daring plan? 80 years of peace. An entire generation got to live their lives free from oppression, all because one person executed a single, audacious act of espionage.
It's just such a gripping story of strategy and courage, and of turning something everyone thinks is a weakness into a decisive weapon. And it really leaves us with a fascinating question, doesn't it? What can this ancient story of espionage teach us today about using our own unique strengths to overcome what seem like impossible odds?